Hello, I'm Steven.
And I'm Aaron.
And we've just seen
Sorry,
Sorry Baby, new film that's out in theaters right now, starring Ava Victor, Naomi Ackie, and Lucas Hedges, and it is directed by Ava Victor. So, I feel like the only way to really talk about this film is to, kind of give away what happens in the first act of the movie that kicks off what the rest of the movie's about. So, film is about this English professor named Agnes who is trying to further her career, and she's sometimes visited by her friend Liddy, who is a lesbian, who's pregnant from a sperm donor, is trying to have a baby, and Agnes has this basically mentor figure who takes an interest in her thesis that she has written, and he invites her over to her house one day, and Agnes is sexually assaulted. And then the rest of the movie basically follows Agnes as she navigates her life, deals with the trauma, and basically how life goes on. So, what did you think of this?
I thought this was fantastic.
Agreed.
I did not know really anything about this movie.
I knew nothing.
Other than I saw people really praising it online, and it's another A24 release, so I'm always curious to see what they've got churning out.
A24 Neon cranks out masterful works year after year after year, but I feel like we hadn't seen it from A24 this year until now.
Yeah, this has been kind of a weird year for them. There's been a ton of their movies that I've either haven't seen or they just haven't been received very well, it seems like. And I think kind of the problem with distributing as much as they do is not everything gets the promotion that it deserves.
Yeah, tragically. Some things just fall through the cracks. I wouldn't have known about this unless you had brought it up to me, because I didn't see any advertising for this.
Yeah, all I saw was the poster of Agnes holding a cat. And then I saw people online saying that this is really great and everybody should go see it. So that's what I did. And it kind of is really good to go in blind, because getting to discover what the movie is actually about in real time is kind of a really dark treat, I guess.
Yeah. Something that's kind of interesting about this movie is that it combines two tones that you'd think would clash. Considering the subject matter, it's about assault, and yet the movie has this oddball indie black comic tone to it.
Yeah.
Which there are certain jokes in the movie that I thought to myself, this should probably seem tasteless.
Yeah.
But the movie's kind of making it work. They're committing.
I think a lot of it has to do with the perspective with which the jokes are being told. It is very much about this central character, Agnes, but by extension, her best friend, Liddy.
Yeah.
These are two women, and likely stuff like this they've had to deal with in one way or another in college or their whole lives. But the way it actually fully hits, and the way the two of them kind of deal with this situation, specifically Agnes, is really interesting to watch, and it kind of gives you an insight into kind of the mindset that one person would be going through in dealing with this kind of situation. It feels like a very personal story.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably something that happened to maybe the writer, director, and star of the movie.
Another thing that kind of made the comedy work was when I thought to myself that, yeah, trauma does happen and it will linger and stay with you, but life does go on, and life is funny.
Yeah.
That is definitely the case here, because there's some really amusing stuff that happens post-assault.
Yeah, just kind of the way the world around Agnes kind of reacts to it or doesn't react at all.
Yeah.
It's darkly funny, but it's also incredibly frustrating to watch, because these are stories that you've heard time and time again, the inaction from certain people or certain institutions that are supposed to be there to protect you.
Yes.
The rock of the movie is Naomi Ackie's character, Liddy. She's really great in the movie, and I really like how she's kind of ride or die for Agnes. She'll do just about anything to help her through this.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's legally questionable.
Questionable, yeah.
One of the most powerful scenes in the movie, probably in a lot of ways the most, is something that'll stick with me, was the assault itself. We don't see it. What happens is Agnes goes to this guy's house, and then the camera is fixed on the house. And then it turns from afternoon to evening, and then from evening to night, and then from night to midnight. And then Agnes comes out of the house, totally quiet, totally silent. We don't know what happened, but we have an idea. And then she just silently walks, and the camera follows her. She walks all the way to her car, and she gets in it. And then as she drives off to go home, this other car like pulls up and starts following her, seemingly. And I thought that was a really good visual metaphor for the way trauma
Yeah.
follows you
Yeah.
and
Well,
stays with you. And
also, like, it creates a sense of, like, paranoia.
paranoia. Yeah, it has a double function. It's like a good visual metaphor, but also instantly puts you in her mindset of
Yeah,
paranoia.
like, she just doesn't feel safe around certain people or certain situations anymore. And with good reason. Like you said, it's very, very tastefully done. And the thing that stings about it too is because we are introduced to these characters properly, and Agnes does have like somewhat of an interest in this other person.
Yes.
And when she goes to his house, you can kind of see the sequence kind of evolving in multiple ways in your mind. But it just lingers on this house, and you keep wondering in your head, like, what's going on in there? And also the lights in the house. Like, you're looking at the lights, and you're wondering, like, okay, are these lights going to go off? Are these going to come on? That's going to help you kind of understand where the scene is going. But then, yeah, when she just comes out of the house, and it's just dead silent and walk into the car, like you fully understand what has happened. But also, like, probably even more harrowing is the scene that follows, where she's just recounting the scene to Liddy.
Yeah.
In her bathtub. Just really scary and terrifying.
Going into detail about the events that unfolded and the discomfort that she was forced to endure.
Yeah, and I like how realistic this character feels.
Yeah, she felt like someone I knew, so much so to the point where I began to wonder if this person that I knew actually wrote the film.
Yeah, just the way the dialogue is written, the way the characters talk to each other.
The relationship between Liddy and Agnes is very believable. They
Yeah.
feel like they have history.
Yeah, it feels very real. The movie's kind of broken up into chunks, like over multiple years. Like the movie opens with the year with the baby, and then next is the year with the bad thing or something
Yeah.
like that. So the first sequence, when we're introduced to the characters, you can tell that something is very wrong with Agnes, but we don't know what it is yet. And Lydia's coming from out of city to kind of visit for the weekend. And you can tell these characters haven't seen each other in a while. And something is very wrong with Agnes. And then when Lydia leaves, you just get a feeling like this is a very lonely character. And something has happened or something's wrong with her. And then we figure out in the next sequence. And then the rest of the movie is kind of the fallout from that, leading back up to the baby.
And there's a good little scene with John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah, he randomly shows up out of nowhere and almost steals the movie.
Yeah, I don't want to say what happens, but that warmth of his character from Fargo kind of shows up here again.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's almost like somebody's plucked him out of that movie and dropped him in here.
The guy's a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
Did you get the impression that the writer-director, Ava Victor, is a Fleabag fan?
Oh, yeah.
This felt very much inspired by Fleabag, and the character kind of looks like Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, it felt like it could have taken place in the same universe or like just across the street from each other. The thing that I would most compare it to like Fleabag in terms of is probably the tone. Not so much the writing, because I think Fleabag is a little bit more like direct and blunt about its humor and comedy.
Yeah, it's a little more surreal, I guess you could say, and then of course there's the fourth wall break, which
Yeah.
this doesn't have.
But they both have a very similar tone, which is kind of that melancholy, just sadness that kind of lays over everything.
Darkly comic.
Yeah. And another thing that really, really props this up and gives it like a very unique kind of voice is the score. Like right from the beginning, there's like this little like sparkly and like spacey kind of piano tune that they play over it, and then the rest of the movie kind of follows suit. It's just really, really good music on top of everything that's going on. Yeah, the movie is ultimately really about kind of like figuring out how to move on from such a thing like that, and how to deal with your trauma and kind of reintegrate back into the world. And the ultimate resolution, I think, is an interesting one because it's not like a final kind of point, like, this is over and I'm done with my life, but it's more like a point of acceptance.
Yeah, we've reached this point, and then
Yeah, and then what happens next, we'll see.
pretty dynamite final scene.
Yeah, really good, and the title of the movie makes sense.
Yes.
in
You
context.
spend the movie wondering what does that mean, and then you realize in the end.
Yeah, and I really love the maturity of the writing and how it handles this topic with like real subtlety and not a lot of finger pointing. Very nuanced take. Like even the way she is asked, like, do you want to go after this guy? Like, we can really take him down. Like we can, end this guy's life essentially. And she has
A very interesting response. The psychology of it is,
not what you would expect at all.
yeah,
Very thoughtful.
yeah.
Surprisingly, like there's a real like sense of humanity behind what Agnes ultimately ends up doing.
It's really good. It's just a shame that too many probably won't know of its existence.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully this gets some attention come like award seasons. I have to imagine this would be up for original screenplay and probably performance. I don't see why it wouldn't be. They really should be pushing this.
Yeah, here's hoping. So, what is your final number grade on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would give it like the highest of 9s.
Agreed. Same.
Yeah. It didn't like push it over the edge into like 10 territory. I don't really honestly know what would have, but yeah, this is just really, especially for like a debut effort, this is like really amazing stuff.
This is the kind of banger you want to put out as your debut feature.
Yeah, like I'm surprised it's come up this many times in our reviews, but it really is like one of those movies that sticks with you. But like I was thinking about After Sun also. It's like,
Yes.
this is somebody's first feature, and I can't imagine how it gets better than this going forward. But yeah, very interested to see what Eva Victor comes up with next.
So, that's Sorry Baby. Definitely see it. Please do.